Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. So, as we see, Avraham Avinu's life is very exciting, full of all kinds of challenges and tests. Next, he goes to war. He has a war with the four kings. And these four kings, the Torah takes the time to explain a little bit about them to show how powerful they were. They were kings that were battling for many, many years against five kings. So these were huge armies, very successful. But they made a mistake. When they won a war, one of the things they did was they took Lot, Avraham Avinu's nephew, captive. Now, it's very important to understand that these were not small people. These were big players. Avraham Avinu was almost like a king in his own right. He had many, many people that followed him. And this isn't current, where in America you have millions of soldiers and a huge government. In those days, it was considered an army if you had a few hundred men, if you had a few thousand men. All kinds of situations we see throughout history where we see the numbers really not that impressive. So when Avraham Avinu has, a few hundred men behind him, it's not a joke. And he was very well known because of his graciousness and because of his power and his wealth. And he was just, this is the thing that's known about him, is that he was known to be somebody that people knew. People would bless their families by saying, you should be as blessed as Abraham. This is who he was. And they went and they took his nephew. This isn't something that just happens. And he knew that he had to go and get his nephew back. So now we have a situation arising where Avraham Avinu, Abraham, is going to war with four very powerful kings. And some people say he took a handful of men, 300 or so men, 318. And some people say that this is, if you take his main servant, Eliezer's name, and you add the numerical value, it comes to that amount. It was just him and his servant, two people. They destroyed them, they wiped them. It wasn't even a challenge. And it says that they split up, part of their strategy in case they try to run. So they split up. So this was really one person at a time. And there are many miracles that are spoken about in regards to this specific war. For example, that he would throw dust and it would turn into arrows. But leaving that all aside and just sticking with, simple reality that we can wrap our heads around, what can we learn from this? A person has two jobs. A person needs to be good, to work on themselves, to grow, to be the best person they can be, to help people, to understand God better, to grow as a person. But at the same time, God wants to see that person battle their own personal challenges, battle the challenges in the world against bad. We're not here to spend our time in this world just protecting ourselves from our outside environment. We are here to affect it. In fact, that's one of the reasons why Abraham was considered the father of nations and not Noah. Because the difference is, Noah was also very righteous, but he didn't believe in affecting other people. He believed in being the best he could be and minimizing his exposure being on this world. Whereas Avraham Avinu, Abraham our father, he had a totally different understanding. He was bringing heaven down to earth. He was here to affect the world. So when we talk about this battle, it's a very interesting concept to understand that you have a man that is so into self-improvement, and it is not a contradiction that he can go to war. That is the kind of person. In fact, in Jewish history, they would send out the wisest, most knowledgeable people our biggest tzaddikim would be the ones that would go to war. They wouldn't stay home and study Torah and then they would send some rough and tough group to go battle. That's not how it played out. They were the ones that went in the name of God and battled. And then the war comes to an end, and Malki Tzedek invites Abraham over, and he gives him drinks and food because he's battle weary. And it's an amazing event that took place. It's much more powerful than I think is given the credence to it in general. People just sort of think he was in war, he beat these kings, very powerful, thank you very much. We got to think about it. We got to think about what was going on in the moment. We have to apply modern psychology to these stories we learn in the Bible to really understand the greatness of these people and what they were aspiring to be one of the humblest people the world ever knew, and at the same time to be the most aggressive, ferocious, powerful fighter. That is a balance of perfection, and that's something we have to aspire to in our own lives, in our personal challenges, in how we deal with people. We have to stay calm until it's not time to stay calm anymore, but to always do things with the goal of God and self-improvement in mind. Hope you guys are enjoying. Looking forward to tomorrow. Have a great one.